Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for coming tonight to Harris's book launch. And this is his book, No Time for Death. And I'm very excited to celebrate with him and have all of you here to celebrate. And I just want to say a few things about Harris and give a short bio. And he's poetry editor of Ibbetson Street. He is the author of Chalice of Eros, Lest They Become, and Among Us. He has been published in numerous magazines, including the Harvard Review, Constellations, Ibbetson, Muddy River, Wilderness House, and that's just a few of them. He has many more. He's co-founder of Tapestry of Voices, the Boston National Poetry Month Festival. He's the recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award from Ibbetson Street Press. And Harris has done so much for the community, and I have really enjoyed running the First and Last Word Poetry series with him. And it's been about, 11 years, I think. So that's a long time. Time really flies. So I want to introduce you to Harris and let him take it away. So Harris, it's all yours.
Thank you, Gloria. A quick comment about the publisher, Cervena Barva Press. I nominated her for sainthood because of her patience, and I considered I was the donor for the book, but Gloria and Bill, you could say, do the midwifery, and a barrel full of thanks to Cervena Barva Press. Before I start, I acknowledge most everybody in the audience in the beginning, but we had I just want to acknowledge a few more who arrived a little bit late. Ruth Hoberman, I said hello to Molly and Ed. Lainey Seneschal is here, my cousin Elizabeth Tan. Alex Levering Curran, who's the head of the Spiritual Center at Northeastern University. Ellie O'Leary is the current poet laureate of Amesbury, and Keith Tornheim is a very prolific published writer. And I think he's got, I lost track, he might have 4 or 5 books out by now. Gray Held is here. That's wonderful. Karen Klein. Oh, my niece, Elisa Todrias. All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming. And this is going to be a good evening. I hope to guarantee it. All right, we're going to start with probably the first poem of the book called Stopwatch. Let's start by shedding all the old years, then take a match to all the evens. Slice and dice all the minutes until they bleed white. Pound in a block to slow the growling gears. Mortar and pestle the grinding seconds, blunt their bite, smash all the clocks, the craven cuckoos too. Fast forwarding the film frames few regrets, though the mirror shows the sweep hand rounding your face. There is no crystal case to hold your works. It's not time's business to offer you perks. The crushing riptide, R.I.P. tide, crinkles your crown. Worn out, you may drown, still in the shallows. Your mind stores snapshots, both fuzzy and clear. Photo albums freeze mortality's stare. The lens is keen, it sees what it sees. The present deep cleans an encrusted past, then polishes it to a pristine sheen. Future scenes left alone develop on their own. Pare away the wrinkled pages, strip bare temporal confusion. Vanity's illusion brooms the dust. Search the phases of your soul. Find the last clock, make it whole. When the keeper sleeps, he loses control. That was a cheerful poem. Anyway, um, the next one is called Acacera, maybe. I think this one was in the Harvard Review. The best period of my life was, is. My thoughts meander beyond the horizon, detour back from dead-end streets, toe stubborn rocks that poke up their heads to see what stirs lazy layers of dust. Feet bleed on thorns of decapitated roses, penance for the breakout rampaging ideas that refuse to return when called home for dinner. Seeds drop into other gardens, grow organic groceries for perhaps more deserving palates. I won't recognize the best days ahead, behind or now as they saunter by, dressed in top hats and tails. No, make that red checkered shirts, open collars and jeans, better attire to kneel on fresh turned land and nurture what remains, solid food with a liberal sprinkle of spice, otherwise bland. Que sera maybe. Have to get me some rope and corral those doggies. No need to have them wander across some other pasture. Okay, this one is a title poem. It's called No Time for Death. Time counts down for all of us. 10, 9, 8. None appreciate its flight, the path of no return. Too often we do a slow burn on a short fuse, a little fizzle, a stutter, then it's boom, baby. Our ashes rain down on every abandoned plane called nowhere. No time to complain, to prepare, not a moment left to reflect, to regret our laying waste to all our powers. Time is an arbitrary asset. When we shatter the fragile hours, nothing remains in the bone man's sack. We cannot choose to refuse the invitation. We can only walk the walk on the streets of the dead. We can offer up prayers for life on some prefab plane where the CFO keeps a brittle book of our lives. Maybe the weights will bounce in our favor. Maybe we shall come back to clean up loose ends. Maybe the sentence gets upended, gets suspended. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Will you stop for one forsaken minute? Okay. This one I wrote after a visit to my cardiologist, and it subsequently was published in Chest magazine, which is the official publication of the College of Pulmonary Physicians. So this is, so you want to be in films. Act 1, Scene 1, Take 1. A genetic aberration, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. I can't even pronounce it. My heart has become a star. Hello, Hollywood. Goodbye. My pulsing muscle stays here with me. I can't bear to be apart from it. The MRI, the camera covers all the angles, close-ups and long shots. My heart is a ham. It performs an unscripted dance. A cocoon immerses me in Mozart's music. A tunnel floods with light. Still, I want to dream. The technician keeps me alert. Breathe, exhale, hold your breath. I am drowning in light. Film flashes forward. Visit to the cardiologist. An exchange of jests. About the murmur, what's it saying? Then a picture chart explains the challenges to monitor the murmured refrain. A new take on the telltale heart. Asymptomatic, no pain or related symptoms, no end credits to roll. Then the pièce de résistance, the specialist flips a switch. There it is, stage center, the star. The doctor shows the area of the third rail, moderate aortic stenosis, case not closed. Not a 5-star rating, edgy, no holds barred, thoughtful, provoking, more than a lifetime of performances. No beta blockers yet, no edited film, no cutting board projected. For now, the hot frets are minor. Later is a distant day. This is a wrap. So the next one is it's an appeal. It's also condemning the trend of genetic engineering, and I'll let the poem speak for itself. No one prescribed this diet. It is not a matter of weight. The shelves for survival of fruited plains, amber waves of grain are genetically honed. Altered states of corn are committing regicide to orange brilliance wedded to widow's exquisite lace. We are wrapped in the tapestry. When we warp the frayed food chain, what will remain in the moribund menu? Meat? No, hormonally enhanced. Most milk? Actually harmful to your health. Tomatoes? Same problem as beef. 95% of soy struggles for identity, and you don't want to know about potatoes. Jellyfish genes to make the harvest iridesce for magnificent moisture control. The whitecoats are coming, the whitecoats are coming. Sound the clarion from highest cliffs. Land of our birth is bloated with full mutant bread baskets. Biotech savants are force feeding the masses. So you don't like the food. We have ways to make you eat it. Where does it say use caution with these ingredients? What effect on pregnant earth? Milkweed wings fold forever. Fingers bleed as grip slips. A bit of membrane lingers. Strands drift while bones sleep. Most butterflies are free, but the monarchs are dying. So, this one is, this next poem is called Sneak Peek at a Poet's Will. And I always say, read that title carefully. Otherwise, it sounds like sneak peek at a poet's swill. But sorry, I guess I went over like a lead balloon. Anyway, this was written in response to a poem by Galway Cannell. And his poem was Attaining the Reading of a Poet's Will. And mine again is Sneak Peek at a Poet's Will. The poem. Verses nurtured on marrow from singing bones under layers of dust. Stanzas dressed in flesh from the heart, draped in surplus brain pulsations, wrapped in packet with blood red ribbon. Item, excess of bottled tears sprinkles pavement, grows roses that bite when one stops to inhale. Item, lines borrowed or stolen, nudge blank minds in bold directions, serve fresh on special occasions, bury still thoughts separately. Item, crumpled bag, home to a few nibbled on metaphors, most emotions spent, some wisely, relish the remnants. Item, the desk that birthed overburdened pages can be left to no one. It labors without complaint when images gallop off the paper, become ingrained in splinters and stains. The legs wobble, speak with creaks on translated versions. Item, voices of verses, capturing accurate tone, napkins and other inspired fragments thrown in drawers for the moment. This is not the final statement, premature to lament unwritten passions. Volumes will increase, collections bound, the will be done. This one is called Karma. That was published in another issue of Harvard Review. And I say that with pride because there's two different editors of the Harvard Review amazingly like my poetry. So anyway, there's an epigraph, and is a quote from a quote. When I was driving to Warwick, Rhode Island with the late Walter Howard to a venue that I hosted down there, he told me this story about this epigraph. A woman was said to Flaubert, I wrote 20,000 words today. And what did you do? Flaubert replied, I removed the comma that I put in last week. So the title of the poem is Comma. A comma tiptoes into all our lives. We pause as we pursue our sentence. No comma burrows within the bones. A comma constricts the breath when winter's hand grips the throat. A comma fish hooks your gut when the burden snags you in the net. A comma slow motions your dreams that drip through intravenous tubes. A comma gnaws through the ropes after death. The voice of the bell peals, then pauses. This one is called Peanut Butter, and I was inspired from it after reading a poem by William Carlos Williams. I borrowed the peanut butter from your kitchen cabinet. 2 slices of Fiber Plus called to me from your refrigerator. Your marshmallow fluff was tempting, but I refused to be a cruel guest who would scrape the bottom of the jar. So I opened your fresh container of jam. I took only enough from the top, just a little that you would not notice or miss. More than that, return me to my childhood, to my parents' house not far from the sound of the ocean. My mind wandered back to those joys, however, not long enough to get lost in the past. Your bottle of Pinot Noir sang to me in a voice that invited a symphony. I longed to test the nose. Think of the bouquet that the label promised. I regretted that I did not bring you an arrangement. I passed no ATM on the way. I knew that a $5 bunch bought at the train station was beneath both of us. Next time, I swear to bring roses, which always conjure your image in my thoughts. Sadly, this moment, this day will turn to dust, as I must too. But for now, I can only wonder Where do you keep your seductive corkscrew? Can you see how much time I have? Okay, good. Time for two more probably. Okay, this one is called When the Answers Chase the Tails. Say that the ocean's murmuring voice reveals mysteries. Say that the mountains leap, or do they tremble when plates rattle on the shelf? Say that trees bow in reverence before the words of primal wind. Say that death visits you in dreams. Say that you refuse to take the first step on the journey that never ends. Except you do when you first kick and scream your entrance into life. Say that you won't dance on the graves of the wicked, although the temptation is strong. Say that the world wobbles because humanity is out of balance. Say your design is righteous, but you can't cure every wrong. Say that the first step to heal the planet is to plant a tree or seed. One benevolent act begets another. Say that you need to nurture your neighbor, even if half the globe disagrees. Say that mortal conflict creates new rivers. When the waters recede back to their banks, new gravestones raise their dripping heads to inquire about the dead. Say that life has many doors and knocks. You're blameless half the time. With little luck, don't get stuck in the muck with others' rebuke. Say that you have options except when you don't. Rows with roses, paths with thorns, sometimes both. Say that they should select the door that hides the lady. Avoid the tiger that grumbles on an empty stomach and dreams a full belly. You want the door on the right. Time for what? One more? I think, yeah, one more. This one is, I'm going to close with a villanelle. If I can, I lost, sorry. Until, here we go. The last one is Until the Last Recorded Dime. This is Villanelle and Until the Last Recorded Dime. When you have been broke a very long time, you forego the champagne, but not the beer. Such is life when you live from dime to dime. Ears adept to complaint, you play the mime. You look in the mirror and face down fear when you have been broke a very long time. You must defer to your reason and rhyme. To make the ascent, you shift to first gear. It's never easy, life from dime to dime. You can't stop the hands, the clock tolls the chime. So you grin and concoct a mask of cheer when you have been broke a very long time. Your efforts ease you into the sublime. You move to the beat only you can hear. You adapt when you live from dime to dime. Each day you wash away more of the grime. Your mind is full, but your focus is clear. You manage to manage after a time. No more holding your breath from dime to dime. Thank you very much.
Yay!
Bravo, bravo.
Yay.
Thank you, Harris. Well done.
Way to go,
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Harris.
Thomas, I didn't see you. Welcome. Thomas O'Leary's in the house.
Oh,
Thanks for the
Oh,
welcome.
and so are a couple others that I missed. And I mentioned, Gray held. Anyway, I hope I got everybody. But thank you all for coming. We have some little time for informal conversation or questions. I hope I was articulate enough so you could understand me to ask questions.
You actually, yes, you were quite comprehensible. It's amazing.
I love your genetic modification poem. It just blew me away.
Which one?
The genetic modification poem, the engineered.
Art.
Oh, Mon the Monarch.
No, the one about the heart, Harris.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he
That was
talked about the
another one.
engineered.
Yeah, food one. The
The
food
food-
one.
Okay.
The one about
Yeah.
food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mon the Monarch.
Yeah. This,
Yeah. Well, anyway, does anybody have any book or project they want to announce? Nina, when's your next Constellation deadline?
March, April, and
Okay.
our theme is uncertainty, but we're hoping that people will not bang the pandemic drum too loudly because
Had enough.
no, you know,
Right.
but see constellations-lit, constellations.lit.com for guidelines. And if you have any questions, just you can email me through the site and I'll be glad to respond.
to
Just to
everybody.
emphasize, you prefer the uncertainty in measured doses?
What?
You prefer the uncertainty in measured doses?
More subtle, at least like you know what I'm saying? Subtleties, sensitivity, not hallmark obviousness.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
By the way, I'll make an announcement. I'm in the reading period for the next issue of Ibbetson Street. In case any of you have a favorite unpublished poem you'd like to run by me.
A new one,
Yes.
New issue.
new issue. Okay, great.
Yeah, number 51.
Harris, I can announce a call for submission as well. I know many of you have appeared in our new journal from Northeastern University. It's called Intensive, a Global Journal of Spirituality and the Arts. And we're now working on our 4th issue and reading for our 5th. We open February 1st and remain open until May 15th. And I can drop in the chat, it's pensivejournal.com. And I am not the only reader. We have about 12 people reading. So I take no, responsibility for the outcome, but would love to read your work. And visual art is welcome as well. Poetry, prose, creative nonfiction, photography. I'll drop that.
So is it print or online or both?
It's online. It's online.
Is that you, Alex?
It is. Yep.
You look greater than I remember.
I've aged like 20 years in the last 2 years. So
Uh-huh.
I need a hat though. I need to rock a hat like you and Fred. And Gray's got a good look going there too. Good to see
I
you.
should have worn my hat tonight.
So it's not around, Poetry Month is almost here. And so I'm going to give a plug for Amesbury's Poetry Festival. It's going to be quite remarkable this year.
Oh, yeah.
Lainey, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, first of all, Ellie O'Leary, our poet laureate, has a very ambitious program. Every day of Poetry Month of April, she will be presenting a new poetic form for people to try out.
Oh,
And we will have some kind of reading of those poems that people generated throughout the month. We have 2 contests, one for grammar school students sponsored by the library in Amesbury, and one for high school students sponsored by the Whittier Home. We also, the library puts a poetry along our river walk, a walking path, little signs where you could read a poem as you walk along. And we're also working on one more event, which might be with an art studio in Amesbury to do ekphrastic poetry with a night of reading the poems poet wrote for the paintings in that gallery. So we'll be pretty busy during Poetry Month in
all
Amesbury.
right.
I was just going to say that the project that I'm doing where I do a form a day will be on my blog. And I noticed there's no chat, so I can't put the address in. It was what I was going to do. But if you see my name, Ellie O'Leary, and you go to ellieoleary.com, it's linked there. And the blog is actually called Breathe Here, which is the name of my poetry book. But if you see the name Ellie O'Leary and you go to ellieoleary.com, you will get linked to it. And as long as I keep up with what I said I was going to do, and I better, there will be a blog post per day, each one about a different form. And then on the fourth Wednesday, when we have our monthly poetry reading, I'm going to invite people to come. It will be on Zoom and read some of the poems they wrote from the blog posts, from the challenges. So it sounds like fun for everybody but me. No. And it sounds like fun for me too. I wouldn't be doing it.
I love all the announcements and
Well,
what everybody is sharing. It's so nice and that. But does anybody have a question for Harris about his book?
I have a comment. I want to thank Harris for the comma. You know, that is so good to sort of be reminded of that particular piece of human experience that the comma represents. Thank you, Harris.
Thank you, Dr. Fred. Dr. Fred founded the Poetry Center at Suffolk University, where he also taught for pretty much his whole career.
So any other comments?
I'll never think of an MRI machine the same way again, Harris.
What?
I'll never think of an MRI machine the same way as a cocoon that immerses me in Mozart music.
This is Keith. I have a question.
Yes.
Can you say something about that delightful cover image on your book?
I can, or Gloria can. Gloria, why don't you take that?
Oh gosh, well, it's really Bill that did it. But you know, we wanted it to be kind of Argentinian, of course, the cover, and then Bill put the mask on her, and I can never say the word right. Scythe, is that how you say it?
Scythe.
Yeah, thank you. I always goof up on that.
You said it right.
You know, so he's responsible for the cover.
I will say one thing. I wanted I just want to suggest perhaps the seduction that death has under certain conditions. And so is the woman figure sort of a metaphor for that?
And why Argentinian?
No, it would have to be a painting that they used. See, the painting was in public domain. It was modified with a death mask and the scythe added. So, but the Spanish thing is kind of like, when you think of the Tarantella, for example, isn't that a dance of passion? And did I get the right dance, George? You know?
That's Italian.
The Tarantella is Italian?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
I
At
mean,
any rate,
it can be a dance of death, though. I mean, you're right on there.
yeah. And if you have, and also I thought of, I don't know why I thought of Carmen at the time, but anyway, my mind went in strange places. But I told Gloria and Bill that I was hoping for either a single dancer or a couple dancing with showing the two aspects of life and death.
It reminded me, if I could add something, Harris, of the Venetian masks and costumes that they have in Venice now in Mardi Gras kind of a thing. And the death mask just puts a little point on it that chills you a bit among the elegance that they have at this time with those pictures. I have a friend who sends me a lot of the Venice things, and it's like, wow, look at this.
Any other comments?
Looking forward to getting my copy so I can read it.
Yes.
I was just wondering, Harris, how long were you working on that collection? And when did you conceive of it and then write the poems for it? Or did you have the poems and then realize you had a book?
Yes and no. I mean, let me answer that question, okay? When I first started the book 14 years ago, 15 years now, I had quite a quantity of poems already. I developing a theme. Okay, so I was writing toward that theme, but I had all kinds of other poems in between that aren't in the book because they're not on the subject. They're not dealing with mortality. And but when I really got serious about, shepherding the book, I went through it like a surgeon, and I kind of removed a lot of the poems that I thought were too weak. And so by the time I finished the book, it had maybe, I don't know, 15 poems from the original, and the rest were written since. So I guess the bulk of the poem might have been written in the last 3 or 4 years. And the book as it exists now. Did I answer the question?
Yes, thank you. And I look forward to reading it.
Yes.
Thank you. Buy it either from Cervena Barva Press or me. Don't get confused by the Massachusetts State website. They already have the book up there. God bless them. But if you click on the picture, it goes to the Barnes & Noble website, which I did not ask for.
No.
But it's good publicity anyway. So definitely support the press or myself.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Wonderful to see you all here tonight.
I guess
And
that
thank you.
ends for tonight, and thank you, everybody. Let's give Harris another round.
Yay.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Thank you all for
Gloria.
coming.
Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Harris.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Good work, bro.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.